Baruch Hashem, it is day number 26 of our study of the Rambam Sefer HaMitzvos, and it's very exciting today that we have a new mitzvah. After many days of the same mitzvah, we have a new mitzvah. Now, we're not done with Hilchas Tefillah in the study of 3 chapters a day of Mishnah Torah. So then how do we have a new mitzvah? I'll explain. Hilchas Tefillah, I've been calling it Hilchas Tefillah, which is laws of prayer. But really, it's Hilchas Tefillah u Birkas Kohanim, the laws of prayer and the priestly blessing, which is often said as part of the prayer service. So today, in the 3 chapters, we're finishing off those halachas. We're doing the last 2 remaining chapters, chapters 14 and 15. And then because we do 3 chapters a day of Mishnah Torah, and there's only 2 more chapters left of Hilchas Tefillah Birkas Kohanim, we're going to have to start the first chapter of the next section, which is a different subject of law, which we'll get to, God willing, very soon, momentarily. But at any rate, so chapters 14 and 15 of Hilchas Tefillah Birkas Kohanim is focused on the Birkas Kohanim, the priestly blessing. What is the priestly blessing? Okay, so let me intro this properly. Here we go. A new mitzvah. After many days we have of doing the same mitzvah every day. Here we go. We haven't done this in a while. A new mitzvah. Positive commandment number 26. The mitzvah for the Kohanim, the priests, the descendants of Aharon, to bless the people. The Kohanim have a special mitzvah to bestow blessing, Hashem's blessing. It's not their blessing, it's Hashem's blessing that comes through them by dint of the special obligation that they have to do so. Now, the Rambam explains that this mitzvah originally was performed in the Beis HaMikdash, in the Holy Temple in Yerushalayim, in Jerusalem, and it was done daily. It was part of the daily temple service. It was done in the morning after the daily morning service, the daily morning offering. And the Kohanim would stand on a platform called the Duchen. And maybe you've heard this whole ritual referred to by the verb to duchen, which means to say the priestly blessing. But it comes from the name of that platform, the duchen. And what is the mitzvah? Well, it's the recitation of 3 verses from the Torah. Yivarecha Hashem v'yishmerecha, Yoreh Hashem panav elecha v'chunecha, Yisroel Hashem panav elecha v'yosim lecha shalom. And as I said, the Kohanim used to do it every day. But now, generally, most communities, we do it only on Yom Tov, when we are in a festive mood. The people are happy, so it's a nice time to be blessed. But there are different customs, and in the land of Israel, some have the Kohanim bless the congregation every Shabbos, and some even do it every single day. And that is the mitzvah of Birkas Kohanim, the priestly blessing. All right. So that finishes off those halachos, Hilchas Tefillah Birkas Kohanim. And now, after that, we're moving into another section, a new section, which is Hilchas Tefillin, Mezuzah, the Sefer Torah. What do those all have in common? Tefillin, Mezuzah, and Sefer Torah. Those are all holy articles that are written by a scribe, which have the Torah words on them, whether it's the entire scroll, the Sefer Torah, or the mezuzah and the tefillin, which also have parchment with the words of Torah, with select words of Torah on them. So the beginning of these laws talks about tefillin. So we're going to talk about tefillin first. And in fact, we're going to split up our discussion of tefillin over today and the next day, because there are actually 2 mitzvahs pertaining to tefillin. And I'll tell you what they are. But let me first of all give a proper introduction to today's second mitzvah. Here we go. Positive commandment number 12. And that is the obligation to have the head tefillin on one's head. V'hoyu l'teitefes bein einecha. They should be, for you, frontlets before your eyes. That is the mitzvah, to have the head tefillin. We're going to do another mitzvah tomorrow, which is the hand tefillin. and that is a separate mitzvah. Remember, the Rambam said that he was in this book, Sefer HaMitzvos, cataloging very carefully which mitzvahs count as separate mitzvahs and which ones are combined with each other as general categories. Okay, so the Rambam clearly separates these two mitzvahs. The head tefillin is one commandment. The hand tefillin is a separate commandment. How do we know that? Well, it's very clear. It's in the Gemara in Menachos Daf Mem Daled Amud Aleph 44a. And the sages discuss a scenario where a person is only able to put on one of the tefillin. He either can put on the shel rosh or the shel yad, the head or the hand. He only has access to one or the other. And there's a discussion, well, is he allowed to do so? Or do we make him get both tefillin? And the sages say very, very clearly, why would we do that? Why would we tell a person who can't do two mitzvahs that you're not allowed to even do one mitzvah? And from that wording, it's apparent that although ideally we do two mitzvahs, we do both, the head and the arm tefillin. But if you can't, if you're in circumstances where you only have one, so then obviously do the one mitzvah. One mitzvah is not as good as two, but it's better than none. So each of the tefillin are separate mitzvahs. We will see you tomorrow with Hashem's help with, you already know one of the mitzvahs for tomorrow because we already alluded to it. We'll see you tomorrow, God willing.